What's up, YouTube? Steel Family Cards coming at you with another video. So, it's been a little bit since I posted my last profile. I've been busy with school and stuff, so I haven't been able to get you with the Thunder Dragon profile yet. So, we're going to do that today. So, this is my Thunder Dragon Phantom Knight deck profile. I've been working on this for a while now. As soon as I finished testing with my BA Elblich build, I started testing with this Thunder Dragon list. So, I never played Thunder Dragons back when they were, like, the big meta thing with Colossus and all that stuff. So, I've just seen them as kind of like a really powerful link climbing engine, because you can use them to get Dark Sun Field to go into Rusty. And so, that's why I decided to just jam some PKs in here and call it good. So, starting off with the profile, we've got, of course, 3 Thunder Dragon. It's just discard. You can add the other 2, so it gives you your extra free discard material, so that's nice. Then we run, for Thunder Dragons, 3 Dark, 3 Roar, and 3 Hawk, or 1 Hawk. So the Thunder Dragons, essentially, are just your link material in this deck, because they're all Darks. So, Dark, when it's banished, you get to add a Thunder Dragon, so you're going to add Hawk, which just lets you discard to special summon him from banished. And then Roar special summons Dark from deck, typically. Or you can summon Hawk, I guess, maybe, but why would you do that? So, that's it for the Thunder Dragon lineup. It's all very standard up to this point, nothing too crazy yet. Then we also have triple copies of Aloof Lupine. This could be Batteryman Solar if you want. I really like Solar in this deck in terms of what he does, since he just gives you that extra token and the free advantage and stuff. But it's not really a starter in and of itself, because you have to have something to like banish a Thunder Dragon from grave after you send it off Solar. While Lupine does actually banish from hand and then vanishes from deck. So Lupine is an actual starter while Solar is not. Lupine's also dark, which is important for like Allure and stuff like that. So that's why I play him triple Lupine. I am testing builds with Solar, and I do like it as a card. So this can be Solar if you want it to. And then for hand traps, we are on double Phantasme. Phantasme is just pretty good for refreshing your hands, because of course the inherent problem with Thunder Dragons is occasionally you'll draw a bunch of them and they're high levels, so you can't really normal summon them or anything. So Phantasme can just kind of help shuffle your hand, get it back to somewhere where it's playable. And it's just good overall. It's kind of like a pseudo hand trap because it doesn't actually stop your opponent, but it is a good card nonetheless. Then we have double Lancia. Lancia is a light which comes into play for like Chaos Space and things like that. And it's just really good. It's one of those blowout hand traps where you can just drop this against something that banishes and they essentially can't play, or at least can't combo off to the fullest extent. And I feel like it has enough utility that it is a decent enough card to main right now. I am playing double Impermanence in this list. This can be Veilers if you want it to be. I personally just find that Imperm is better than Veiler because it can't be called by your opponent if they, yeah, it's just less, your opponent can interact with this a lot less than they can with Veiler typically. And so I find this more important than the interaction you'd have with, like, say, Shade Brigadine, where this would be engraved, so you couldn't summon the Shade Brigadine. So that's just why I opt to play Imperm over Veiler. But this can very well be Veiler if you prefer that. Then we're also running Double Nib. Just, again, good against combo. You're going to need to drop this so you can survive, essentially, against most combo decks these days. And then we are running the little Baby Dragons package. Finally got my ultra rare Chaos Dragons, so really nice looking there. And then, yeah, so you just pitch off Chaos Space, essentially, to add these. I'll talk more about that when we get to actual Chaos Space itself. But, yeah, that's our Thunder Dragon. Those are just free in Thunder Dragons, and essentially everything. They're great cards. I love them. And then our really shiny Phantom Knights package here. So, of course, just a Boots, Cloak, 2 Fog, and then the Shade Brigadine. These cards are just, again, strong with Rusty, because you can just set the extra Fog Blades for the negates. Cloak banishes, add Boots, Boots summon. Just standard Phantom Knight stuff. Good cards. And I am running Dragoon in this particular list. You don't have to. You can literally just cut these. They're actually kind of frustrating in this build, because you do play enough draw power that you'll typically see these, and if you just draw Fusion, then you're completely dead, but you never want to see these anyway. Sometimes you'll like to have them in hand for a lure. They'll be like an only dark, and so you're forced to banish them. So that's kind of frustrating too, because it means you have 2 more dead cards in deck. So this could definitely just entirely be cut and replace it with 3 actually like good cards and not bricks. So that is definitely an option if you don't feel like playing Dragoon. But I just have it, and so I'm like, I'm going to play it while it's legal, you know? And we have triple Allure of Darkness. Probably the reason why I'd opt to play this deck over another combo deck is entirely because you can flex Allure in this deck. And this deck can flex Allure like no other dark deck can. So essentially, so Allure's the draw 2, and then you banish a dark from hand. So all the Thunders gain their effects off of Allure, so it's essentially a starter card while allowing you to cycle through your deck. And just this 3 Allure gives this deck so much draw power. It's really nuts. I love this card in Thunder Dragons. It's so good. And then another really powerful spell, we can flex triple Chaos Space in here with the Baby Dragons. This might be one of my favorite cards of all time. It's just so strong, the interaction this thing has with the Thunder Dragon, the Baby Dragons. So you can essentially pitch the opposite attribute to search the opposite attribute Baby Dragon. So if you pitch like a light, you search the dark, and then you can summon out the dark. When dark goes to grave, it'll search out light, and then light will add to hand. You can banish black, summon white, and Chaos Space has another effect in grave to banish itself to recycle one of your light or dark monsters that's banished that cannot be normal summon set. So you can banish this to recycle the white and draw a card, and then you'll be able to go, when you use black as material, then you'll be able to search out the white. And so it's just free extension, free draw power. This card's just nuts with the Baby Dragons. Then for power run-ups, we run Gold Sark. Obviously, this can just start your Thunder Dragon plays by banishing a Thunder Dragon, so really good there. Called By, just because you can stop hand traps. And this deck isn't the most resilient. It's not like fragile, per se, but it's just can't play through interruption as well as some can. Then one Upstart, just as a slight little consistency boost, so you can see your engine more often. So that's it for the main deck. Then moving on to the extra. The extra deck is kind of bare bones at the moment. I haven't really fleshed it out. So there's like a skeleton here, essentially, the stuff you have to play. I mean, obviously you have to play like Rusty and some other stuff, but there's also just kind of some generic stuff in here that I can maybe go into. So this can definitely be changed up depending on your personal opinion and play style as such. So obviously, 1 Rusty. This card is nuts. Just send the Phantom Knight, set the Phantom Knight spell and trap. It can be a free Dragoon. It can be free double Fog Blade. It's just a very good card overall. Then we run Barricade Board. It's just a generic link 2 to get stuff engraved, like the Phantom Knights if you have them on field. Phoenix as just some generic back row removal. The little Dragoon package here. IP Unicorn, just very strong. Again, generic stuff. Striker Dragon for your Baby Dragons, just to get them engraved so you can proc the floating effects, which is very good. 1 Almirage. This helps if you have to normal summon a Phantom Knight, which does happen sometimes since you only run like 3 normal summons in the whole deck. So this is a decent card. This definitely is cuttable if you want to play something more aggressive in place of it. 1 Link Spider so that you can climb into your Dragoon with the Shade Brigadine by turning it into an effect monster. 1 Boral Sword just to end games. Avermax is on a similar note, except for this is against your more control matchups since he has more protection, especially if you go into him off of IP. He's really hard to destroy. So this is more of a more control-y type card. Then Nightmare Griffin. I really like Griffin as a card if you can set him up underneath something so your opponent just doesn't get a zone, because he essentially just says your opponent's monsters that aren't linked to an arrow can't activate effects. So it's kind of like skill drain on the whole field, except for monsters he points to. It's really interesting card. Like if used right, it's kind of like even better than Appaloosa in some cases. So I feel like this card is pretty nice. And then on another note, yep, Appaloosa as well. Just good generic. You can go into this sometimes, and it's good because negates are fun. And then Nightmare. This can be whatever. This is the flex spot. I really like Nightmare as a card, so I chucked him in here for the moment. Yeah, this deck definitely needs to be fleshed out a little bit more in terms of extra deck. I've worked a lot on the main deck as opposed to working on the extra deck. So this is definitely something that I can still work on solving more. But yeah, it's just, this is what the profiles looked like for a while. Been meaning to get this out to you guys. Haven't found the time yet. But that pretty much wraps it up. Again, I do really like this deck. I think it's really fun to play, and it's fairly strong, too. Like, this isn't a bad deck by any means. So yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, all the good YouTube things. And this will just be Steel Family Cards saying ta-ta for now.